All right, welcome back to our lectures on carnival music in Trinidad. This is going to be the last lecture in this series. And let me make sure that we're recording. Yes, we are. Okay, great. So we've talked about the Road March, we've talked about Calypso Monarch, and the last major event in Trinidad is going to be Panorama. And of course, that means steel drums. So this is going to be just great. And we'll let this load here for a moment. It's got to load up all the slides. So as we know from previous lectures, the major natural resource we see in Trinidad and Tobago is fossil fuels. Oil, natural gas, right? So we also talked about in the Second World War, it being a refueling station for naval ships. And so, of course, you can't just drill oil out of the ground and let it float in pools. You have to put it somewhere. In the case of oil, we use 55-gallon big storage metal drums. So at the end of World War II, we will see that there's just tons left over. And before that, you know, we talked about tambu bamboo and kalinda and making those rhythmic and those sounds. And before that, people had been playing music in the 30s on like tins that held like biscuits and stuff like that and hammering out notes. But we're really going to see the development of the steel pan. And here, let me pull up my highlighter. Let me pull up my highlighter. So we're going to always, I want to say steel pan. Using the word steel drum, this is the wrong word. We hear it often, but steel drum is not the correct word. We have to use the word steel pan. So largely the steel pan is invented in the second half of the 20th century. This is probably the most important instrument invented and most well-known instrument invented worldwide in the last 50 years. And it's spread all over the world, which is really great, but its roots are here in Trinidad and Tobago. So major event, Panorama. Panorama is the big Steelpan Orchestra contest. What I've done for us here, guys, in my class, not necessarily the people watching online, I have linked an article, and at the end of the lecture, you're going to see there's going to be a assignment based on this article. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'll go ahead and link it anyways because I think it's fairly interesting. Quickly, I want to talk about the instruments in the steel band or the steel pan orchestra. So we're going to see there's a lead, double seconds, double guitars, triple cellos, tenor bass, and the six bass. And what I've gone ahead and done, I'm going to close the pointer here. I've linked for us, and we're going to go over there together, the website actually of the man who made the steel drums for our school, St. Ray's, because his website is really, really good. So we're going to just quickly go through the instruments in the steel band. Okay, so here's the tenor pan. This is the top. It's the lead or the tenor. This is the melody instrument. So when you hear the melodies and when we see the videos in a bit, then you will see how these all work. You can see, let me bring up the annotation tools here. So you can see, if you watch the red, these are all going to be different notes. And down here, it's laid out how this happens. And I've included a video as to how these instruments get made and tuned. So we'll see that. But I want to quickly click through here so you can see. Next, we talked about the double seconds. And this website is linked for you to see. So once we get into the double seconds, we're going to start seeing this setup with multiple drums. And so the double seconds are a little bit lower than the tenors. And as we go down the line, we're going to see that the instruments get lower in sound. So tenor's the highest. Next, we're going to have our double seconds, and we can see how they're laid out here. They're 2 drums, and it's a nice sound, and we hear like counter melodies and some harmonies from the double seconds. And now we'll go down to the guitars and cellos. So we talked in the slide here about the triple cello and the guitar. So triple guitars / cellos, fewer notes on each instrument, lower in sound. But now there's going to be 3 of them, and you can see again the layout here. And you can see these pans have a dark haunting tone due to diminished chord layout, lower registered note range. These are the main strumming instrument of the steel band. So you're going to hear kind of backup rhythms and providing harmonies in that. And finally, let's get down to the bass. So here are the ones that we know, the basses. Here's a 6 bass. Here's a 6 bass. Why is it a 6 bass? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 pans in the 6 bass, and there's also a tenor bass that you can do. But the 6 bass is very, very common. And as we get into our videos, you'll see that. But I've left Mr. Dunleavy's links on the slides for you to see. So let's go back to the presentation. And let me drop the annotation window here and go back. And let's make sure we're full screen. Okay, so we've seen some of these. Now, I want to show you this picture because you can see the steel band. This is the Desperado steel band. And they've been together since 1945, and they just won Panorama again this year. So they've won Panorama now 12 times. We can start to see the different instruments. So through here, and let me pull up our pointer again. You can start to see if you can identify what's what, the cellos, the tenors, the double guitars. Here we have some of the tenor basses here. Tenor basses up here hanging, triple cellos up here. We'll start seeing also in the back, and as we see the videos to come, there will be more, and you'll see the more instruments. But this is the Desperado Steel Orchestra, and they're really, really great. So to that, I've included 2 links for you guys at my school to listen to. And also, I'll include these on the YouTube link. So I want you to go ahead and take a look. The first video here, Desperado's Steel Orchestra preparing for Panorama. This is a shorter video, and we're going to see some rehearsal. We're going to see how the instruments get made. It's a really, really great video. When we make the instruments are made, and then we also talk about them being tuned and what that is. So you'll see all that happening. So take a look at that. Okay, and now that you've looked at that, I want you to next take a look, and this is actually our last video, the Desperados performing Iron Love at Panorama. The video is a little bit longer, so please watch it all, take it in, listen to it, and understand what the Steelpan Orchestra sounds like. You know, I want you to take away from this that in the second half of the 20th century, this is the one major instrument that's invented here, especially in the West, and it's blown up worldwide. And in my class at school, we saw a steel band from Germany playing Jump in the Line, and that was really a lot of fun. So we see these steel bands, steel orchestras popping up all over the world. You know, gentlemen at my school, St. Ray's, we do have one. And so we're slowly but surely putting that together. We've got some great instruments from Mr. Dunleavy. So think about doing that. And yeah, when we get back to school, hopefully we'll have a chance to see that. Now, guys, I'm going to make this assignment here for you now. And we're going to go over that. So if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see the assignment, but really this is for my students at the high school. Guys, we're going to go here to the history of steel pan. And you're going to read this. It's not a very long article. Let's see. Hopefully my computer isn't crashing here. Okay, great. So you'll see it's not all that long, but it really details this. Okay, and so what I want you to do is read this article. It's probably a 5-minute read, and I want a 150-word summary of the article. Okay, so talk about the dates, talk about names of important people, talk about events, and that's kind of the summary. So read it and then give us a 150-word summary. At most, guys, that's 3/4 of a page, so that's really not that much. Times New Roman. I will create the document for you in Classroom, so you'll be all set on that. And then and that will be due Wednesday. So I'm going to give you a bit more time because I really want you to listen and do all that. And that's where we're going to, I think we'll end things there from today. But guys and folks listening worldwide, thank you so much. Enjoy those videos. They're really great. Look up steel orchestras. When this whole Corona situation ends, I guarantee you have a steel orchestra in your community. I don't care where you live, but you definitely do. So look it up, go to a performance, look it up on YouTube. It's fun music. It's really, really fun. So that is where we're going to stand today. All right, guys, everyone, take care. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.